it's a new season of RuPaul's Drag Race. 12 queens compete against the edit for the title of America's Next Drag Superstar and the drag career with a 7-digit net worth. Welcome to the shop, and before we begin, let's take a moment to pay homage to one of the greatest moments in history, the Season 11 live Meet the Queens.
Hey everybody! Hi Aquaria!
Oh, sorry to keep you waiting, Adam. It is gonna be a mess.
So, now, I love it. I mean, I really could. Can you tell us about, like... Wow. I love that. I am so excited to compete, me to compete.
I thought you were competing?
Oh. I love that.
So, our winning challenge...
I'm going, like, super well.
Art, did somebody mention art?
You walked into this room and I was like, it smells like Red Lobster.
Shitting on a secret.
Wow. I love that.
VH1 got me fucked up.
The 15th queen is none other than Vanessa.
Oh, fuck it.
Beautiful! I can tell everybody was so comfortable filming that. So what do we do here? Well, as you know, drag is magic, and editing is even more magical. So we're going to do a quick recap of the show, and then we're going to see what the magic is all about. The episode starts and we get to meet the first 7 queens. Then Ru comes in to announce that this is a split premiere, and the queens will get to meet the other contestants in the 3rd episode. The first mini challenge of the season is a runway with autumn and spring inspired looks. Back in the workroom, RuPaul announces the main challenge for the episode, writing lyrics for I'm That Bitch and creating a choreography to go along with the number. Extra special guest star for the episode is Nicki Minaj, and we had a lot of high-profile guest stars during the years. Lady Gaga, Farrah Moan, Hannah Montana.
Hannah Montana?
Yet somehow we still can't afford Hannah. At this point, we have some tension built up as the queens decide how to approach the choreography. Tension gets carried on during rehearsal, but eventually the queens get it together. On the main stage, the guest judge that's not Hannah tries to steal RuPaul's spotlight. Then RuPaul makes her entrance. The dress is beautiful, the makeup is well. Raven, what do you think? Adam? I respect both your opinions. Then we get to see the number and the runway. The judges deliberate and then give back their critique. The guest judge that's not Hannah has some serious critique about Heidi's hair and makeup. She clearly has a point, but the wording could have used some improvement.
I hate your hair and makeup today.
Then Ru announces that no one will be eliminated and the top 2 will lip sync for the win. In the end, Widow is declared the winner. A great start for a season that's going to be remembered for all the wrong reasons. The episode was entertaining and engaging. Still, we didn't get a sew-in challenge, but I guess I can live with that. Maybe we'll get one later on. Overall, a pretty solid episode. And now, let's take a closer look to some of the worst editing magic that went on during the episode. Let's go to the other side of the mirror. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a villain. Or do we? It's not like the show has a history of vilifying queens of color, or maybe even casting them specifically to fit their role, is it? But I guess that's just an impression of mine. So what's actually going on with Widow? We have this long scene during rehearsal that practically screams at you that you have to dislike her. Widow is supposed to share responsibility for the choreography with Heidi. Instead, she takes charge and wants to do things her own way. She's shown rehearsing her moves and immediately being criticized for it.
She keeps on pulling out the same moves. She just keeps on doing this little thing.
And these critics are confirmed by the confessionals that all tell the same story. Widow cannot do her job.
I'm feeling some auras from Widow. Like, I can feel the steam coming off her wig.
What else you got?
And Widow's confessionals are specifically framed to make her look like a dictator, not a leader.
Miss Jackie and Miss Britta, you two hoes, shut up and let me do my job. There's just too many motherfucking chefs in this goddamn kitchen. Fuck it. Y'all wanna do it? Go ahead. Show me what you got.
And of course, the icing on the cake, our Old Faithful, the parade of shady noises.
There's just too many. You know what?
Okay, so we
Go ahead.
So, what is really going on here? Well, to understand that, we need to go back to the workroom and listen to what the queens are actually saying.
I think that the people that are used to choreograph shows weekly should probably take the lead.
Heidi and Widow should do it.
Heidi and I are nominated to be the leads of this choreography.
Widow and Heidi are supposed to share the responsibility for the choreography. Good, so we have a starting point. But back on the main stage, listen closely to what Jackie is actually saying.
We're gonna rely on you for this first choreography.
All right, chocolate sister, let's choreograph this shit. All right.
It looks like at some point, the queens decided to split the choreography in two parts. One with Widow in charge and one with Heidi in charge. But we didn't get to see that, did we? How convenient, isn't it? So Widow never took charge over Heidi. She was taking charge of what she was given charge of, the first choreography. And now that we know that, it makes so much sense to hear Widow say this.
If you are the captain of this ship, you are going down.
From her perspective, she's in charge of the first choreography. She is the leader. And if you're a leader, you have the privilege to do things your own way, and people can give feedback, but they ultimately have to follow your vision. And you also have to take full responsibility if things go downhill. And here is the whole point. Instead of following and giving feedback, everybody is just chiming in.
I think if we had staggered movements at certain times.
Like, you know, like the type of thing, like Gillo, like choreograph.
Take a knee, watch Britta go.
And they don't just chime in, they state what they want to do instead.
That's the way it is. Don't you wish.
Switch it up
Got
just
it.
for variety. Switch, pose.
But we've seen the routines of bitches just posing.
Which is pretty convenient if you ask me. You get to do what you want, and if things go downhill, you have a leader to blame for it. Or as I like to say, we are all power bottoms, with somebody else's ass. So when you frame the whole thing from this point of view, you start to understand the meaning behind Widow's reaction. And I don't know if you noticed, but Widow's shady editing didn't start there. Let's go back to the beginning of the episode for a moment. Gigi is telling everyone how old she is, and you can see Widow smiling at her. A fraction of a second later, she's side-eyeing Gigi.
I'm 21 years old.
21.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, wow, look at that.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with the fact that they ended up lip-syncing together, but most importantly, for future narratives. Widow has already received social media backlash for what happened during episode 1, And I hope that this video will help you look at Widow from a different perspective. And now, didn't you hear it? It's award season! The Frankensantas Award for Best Audio Editing goes to the editors behind ID's confessional.
Oh my god. It is now time for us to start doing choreography. It is now time for us to start doing choreography. It is now time for us to start doing choreography.
I'm sure the Academy is keeping a close eye to these professionals. And now, it's the moment you have all been waiting for. The most prestigious award that we give away here at Top RPDR Videos. It's time for the Fifi O'Hara Award.
Bullshit.
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 That's bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
That's a joke.
Every fucking time.
I was being realistic.
Realistic was bullshit. Girl, bullshit. You are a fucking liar.
This week's Fifi Award winner is RuPaul for saying this.
The first rule of Drag Race is do not second guess yourself.
Ugh, cut me some slack, that's bullshit. Everyone knows that the first rule of RuPaul's Drag Race is beware of the villain edit. Everyone knows that, come on. And now, it's time to move to the speculation section of the show. If you don't want possible spoilers, this is the moment that you should stop the video. So thanks for watching until now, and I will see you next time. Do you know where the word fan comes from? It comes from fanatic, which we are, because of course we charted all the confessionals for the entire episode. And I'm not talking about just the time they come on, I'm talking about the total time. So let's unpack this. On screen, you see the total amount of confessionals that each queen had, but also the total amount of time that they had. And these confessionals we divided in three categories. Narrative, if they are explaining what's happening during the episode. Positive, if the queens are portrayed in a positive manner. And negative, if they are portrayed in a negative manner. So let's start with Widow. Widow leads with the most amount of confessional time than anybody. On screen she's portrayed as a villain, but the graph tells a whole different story. She clearly is the narrator for the episode, and the ratio between positive and negative confessionals is really high. And based on this, I think there is a good chance that Widow's edit might turn around. She still might get a villain edit after all, because in reality television you need a villain, and if another doesn't pop up, that's her spot. But at least she will get to stick around much longer. So we do not believe that she will go home first. But she will probably not be in the top either. Next we have Heidi. Heidi has the second most confessional time than anybody else, but she also comes on screen much more than anybody else. And by the way she's portrayed, I think that Heidi might be up for a redemption edit, which means she won't go home first, but she will also not reach the top either, because redemption edits never reach the top. Next up we have Jackie and Brita. Both of them has as much confessionals as anybody else, but the proportion between positive and negative confessionals is much lower than anybody else, particularly for Brita. Now Jackie received a pretty good edit during the whole episode, so she won't go home first. But Brita's edit was nothing to gag about, so she's our first candidate to go home first in episode 3. Now let's look at Gigi, Nikki and Crystal. What these three queens have in common is that they have zero amount of negative confessionals, which is already pretty telling. Gigi is the clear frontrunner of the season. She is young and talented, and we have no doubt that she will reach the top 4 for this season. Nikki's confessionals graph looks exceptionally similar to Gigi, which is no surprise. During the episode, she said herself that she considers Gigi her biggest competition, and remember, that part was not edited out by the producers. It was left in, and it was probably left in for a reason. And this is why we believe that Nikki will not reach the top 3. She has too much of a good edit to be eliminated first, so she'll probably stick in the middle of the pack. Next we have Crystal. Now Crystal's case is pretty telling. She has the least amount of confessionals that anybody else, and the least amount of confessional time that anybody else. So it looks like the production is somehow holding back on Crystal, much like what happened to Jinx Monsoon during season 5. I think there is a good chance that she could be the silent assassin of the season. And based on that, I think there is a very good chance that Crystal will reach the top 4, or at least stop very close to it. Next episode, the plan is to talk about storyline and archetypes in RuPaul's Drag Race, and how different edits inevitably lead to different outcomes for the season. In the meantime, thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, comment, Twitter, blah blah, do whatever the f you want. But if you have something to say, I'll make sure to take a look at it. And maybe respond to it. No, I'm just kidding. If it's a good comment, I will surely respond to it. See you next time!